although we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, it doesn't change the fact that currently the Nintendo community is in the dark. But even if excitement is growing in the community because of the April 2nd Switch 2 Direct, I, and I know a few others as well, can't seem to shake off this feeling of unease. But after a bit of research, I realized that this feeling is due to liminal spaces. So let's talk about them and how they affect the Nintendo community as a whole. To begin, what is a liminal space? A liminal space can be described as a transitional or in-between place or state, often invoking a feeling of ambiguity and unease that bridges two different realms or stages of life, whether it be physical, emotional, or metaphorical. A real-world example of a liminal space at work could be the time period a student experiences between their graduation and when they land their first big job. Although graduations can come with a sense of relief and accomplishment of everything you've overcame, but the reality will start to set in quickly once they start applying for jobs and realize that it's not going to be that simple. But once they start facing rejection after rejection, then the realization that they most likely tackled on copious amounts of debt to even attend college in the first place, a feeling of unease starts to brew. And this uncomfortable feeling will most likely stay with the student until they finally and eventually land a job. As for the Nintendo community, we find ourselves wedged in a period of time between the end of the Nintendo Switch and the beginning of the Switch 2. And some people in the community might even argue that this transitional period for Nintendo has lasted maybe even too long. And really, it is kind of hard to blame them. Some could even argue that this liminal space started all the way back in 2024. Although in 2024 there was no official news talking about the successor to the Nintendo Switch, it was quite obvious that Nintendo was getting ready for new hardware just simply on the fact of how many ports and remasters were released last year alone. But personally, I feel as though this liminal space truly started after the reveal of the Switch 2. Going into 2025, we only knew about 2 games coming to Switch. Those games being Donkey Kong Country Returns HD and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. And with a growing percentage of people claiming that dust is collecting on the Nintendo Switch, this announcement woke up the Nintendo community in a much needed way. It was equal parts satisfying as it was exciting to watch the trailer, because finally we had something to look forward to concretely, but once the announcement was over, the effect quickly wore off. Because it was still just a teaser trailer at the end of the day, so there wasn't really that much information. And the only concrete thing we knew is that on April 2nd there was going to be the full direct and full reveal of the Nintendo Switch 2. But although April 2nd felt like such a ways away, a lot of people in the community, and me included, felt like Nintendo also had different opportunities to announce things as well, and these announcements were going to help ease the wait for the big direct. I mean, first of all, there was that whole February Direct that was rumored. Nintendo already mentioned in the past how they didn't want to just drop the Switch cold turkey once the Switch 2 came out. And considering, like I mentioned before, there's not that many games we know are coming for the Switch so far, having one final Switch 1 focused Direct really wasn't that far of a stretch to believe. And considering that February is over, I'll go out on a whim and say it's not gonna happen. We did of course get the Pokemon Direct, but the main feature of that event was definitely Pokemon Legends EA, which was a game we kind of already knew about. But Nintendo also had the opportunity to announce something on March 10th, Mario Day. Of course, Nintendo doesn't always do something big or something at all even on Mario Day, so it's never guaranteed. But considering that this year is the 40th anniversary of Nintendo's biggest IP, that IP of course being Mario, it really wasn't a stretch either to believe that they were going to do at least something, anything on Mario Day. And I'm not even saying I was expecting that, they would announce a new 3D Mario game or talk more about Mario Kart, but even just talk about the Mario movie too. And although they did talk about a new Lego Mario Kart set, it still feels like it's kind of a missed opportunity to do at least something slightly bigger considering, again, it's Mario's 40th anniversary this year. But in all of this unease, there's still a silver lining. But before I get into that, I have a short message. If this is your first time here, hey, my name's Acadrien and I post weekly Nintendo videos just like this. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, I would greatly appreciate it if you would simply consider to like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's go right back into the video. As I was mentioning, this silence isn't for nothing. And although this is simply my personal opinion, I feel like the silence from Nintendo is implying something bigger. By keeping a low profile since January, Nintendo is eliminating any and every distraction a consumer might have. Because at the end of the day, we're all human and we can't remember everything, or even be expected to remember everything. And Nintendo is very aware of that. And since the Switch 2 is going to be Nintendo's most important project moving forward, by eliminating distractions, they're able to pour all of our attention where they think they need it most. And of course in this case, meaning the April 2nd Direct. This, however, is kind of a risky move, because it's never a good move to put all your eggs in one basket. But even if I can't shake off the feeling of uncertainty, I have confidence that Nintendo knows exactly what they're doing. And I really do feel like this April 2nd Direct could be even bigger than we expect. But of course, that's simply just my speculation. But now I want to hear from you. Do you feel like it's a good idea for Nintendo to put all their eggs in one basket? Let me know in the comments below. I would once again like to thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. And if you did enjoy this video, why not check out another one? For whatever reason, YouTube thinks that you'll enjoy this one, so try checking out that one next. And until next time, Wadao.